Going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Back with another one here. Y'all, I did a couple videos over the weekend, and I did the live inspiration motivation. Kind of got into something, and I said, I'm going to come back with it. And it kind of inspired this video here. It is one thing that Colorado must do to win. If it was one thing, I know you all may have your one thing. You can put it in the comments. But let me tell you, it's one thing. And most of y'all, if you really watch Colorado and been following Colorado, you know that they have to do to win this year. It may be multiple, but this is the biggest, most important thing. And that is tackle. Now, I got into the whole conversation about how I felt kind of a little bit. But I'm going to take my time to kind of go into that right here. Anybody who's played football know that it's certain things that is the pillar. It is the fundamentals. You start from a little bitty boy, and this is a few things that they teach you. It's like in school, they say math, reading, and arithmetic, right? Well, you have that in football, and that is blocking and tackling. And then you might throw in there, some of the rules or whatever, know how to play the game, just understanding of the game. But from an early age, you have to be able to block and tackle. Matter of fact, the teams who do that the best are going to be the best teams in the league. Everybody kind of get into this YouTube flash thing where you see these kids, they way more mature, way more advanced than everybody. They run past everybody, just faster and more aggressive, more talented. And you'll see that. But at the end of the day, the teams that know how to block and the whole line don't get in the backfield and they fundamental, they're going to whoop you. The teams who know how to tackle where the guy just can't run all over and he just not stiff arm him to the ground, they can tackle, he going to have a hard time. And you get into all of that before you really get into formations, before you get into that, it's the core of it in that sport. It's just like hitting the ball and catching the ball in baseball, just like dribbling and shooting in basketball. It's certain things you just got to do. And no matter what level you on, you can't get around it. And when you look at Colorado, their biggest struggle, as I've already said, has been, if you really, really want to get down to the nitty gritty and just narrow it down. Yeah, we talked about blocking. That was one thing that everybody pointed out. But very few people talk about their tackling. Their tackling has been very suspect to the point where, they play some good games. They're very consistent in it because the games that they lost really came down to tackling. They say the teams that really figured out say, we're just going to gush Colorado. Now, we were known to have some pretty good interior guys. We had Shatozi last year. You had Hill Green. And even with that, it wasn't like perfect, but we had some gaps in there. And the year before, it was just like, I felt like the pass really beat Colorado, but of course, not being able to stop the run to get off the field, not being able to stop the run, when, from a clock management standpoint, that's what hurt them. When you look at the teams who really worked the clock on them, like when you see Nebraska, when you seen what Kansas did and really Kansas State, both of them Kansas teams, the biggest problem was they couldn't stop nothing. They couldn't stop nothing. Even if they get third and long, they couldn't stop. We've seen it even all the way up to North Dakota State. They couldn't stop the run. And they couldn't stop it when it counted the most. They couldn't get the defense off the field. And what that equated to was longer drives, keeping the offense on the sideline. And the offense, when you combine that with their slow starts and just can't get the momentum going, it didn't work well. And they just couldn't cover the deficit. So we've seen that in Nebraska. Then you've seen it with, even though they could have won, should have won, there was some cheating going on with Kansas State. The problem was they flipped the defense upside down to stop the run. They pretty much put everybody on the line. I was at the game. Had one linebacker back there trying to plug every hole, and it still wasn't working because, you getting back there, but you're not tackling the man. The man going through 3-4 people, and he's like a superhero. And it's, these boys is big and strong, you're not tackling. And then you get to Kansas, and they say, the line was too big. The running back was big. And you can't erase the fact that they were stopping these guys in the backfield and not bringing the tackle down. They wasn't finishing the play. And now my theory is, knowing me, Greg said, I'm going to really be that guy, right? I was that guy, like I said, with the night games, with the music. People trying to wish the music back. Okay, whatever. But Colorado's practicing, as I said, is the reason why they can't tackle. It's a reason why when you were in Little League and you did the tackle drills and, yeah, you did the thudding and make sure, everything don't require a takedown. You probably do those little thud drills, but you also had your Oklahomas. You had your different drills. It could be an individual thing, which is cool. And you ram each other, you head to head between the dummies, can't go outside of them. And the cones, whatever, and you hit and you get up and hit and practice get off your back. That was fun, right? Then you did the kind of the single unit out there. We have a offensive lineman and a defensive lineman and a backer and a running back. And that defensive lineman got to get to the ball, and that running back, that linebacker and that defensive lineman got to work well together and, play their position. They both can't go one way and the running back go right by them. But you learning how in a simulated situation, it ain't in full speed in the game. They don't have to be a mile apart. The tackle, you put 2 linemen down, 3 linemen down, and you add a safety back there. And, these are drills we did all the way up to college. And I don't really remember people getting hurt doing it. It was something that really made you use your skills in tackling, because sometimes you get rusty with that, especially the season go on. Now, you might want to preserve during the season, but, man, it's fair game in the off season. Protecting people in the spring 6 months down the road is crazy. I heard him say, no takedown. Now, I don't want you pulling 5 minutes after you make contact and pulling them by the neck and trying to take them down, like blow the whistle. And I don't want you going below the knees. But doggone it, you got to learn how to tackle. At the very least, the linebackers got to be tackled. Now, you see the defensive line, they get to go thud up and they get to be physical, but even they're not practicing on tackling because they just doing these one-on-ones and seeing who can get to the guy holding the ball in the backfield, just these practice drills. But what happens when you get in the backfield, you don't make the tackle? We've seen that plentiful. They get in the backfield and look lost because a lot of the times it was initial contact made. When you look at all those games, like they running through a clear hole. They running through 2-3 people and then through your secondary. You got to come up and make the hit. You see Shiloh for the last couple of years had to come up and make hits. That means they going through there. Either they going through like a freight train or they playing tag like that at practice. That tag stuff translates. Everything you doing at practice translates while when your tackling skills translate. Because you're looking at the fact that, I got to him, coach, I touched him. Okay, when you get to the game, it don't count. You get to him and touch and don't stop the whistle. You got to bring a man down who don't want to go down. You got to bring a man down who eat weights like you. You got to bring a man down who want to score, who want to go to the next level just like you do. He's not more than likely. He's squatting with 800 pounds, whatever. He's not trying to go down because you hit him. You bumped into him. You touched him. You running right through that arm tackle. And we seen, honestly, this is not a knock. This is honestly, they had a lot of arm tackling tendencies over the last couple of years because that's what reaching teaches you. They're not leading. They're not going through with their body to shoulder pass. They reach first. You see what I'm saying? That's not physical contact. And I saw that even last year. They're not making contact. We had some guy, Hill Green was known to bow, but a lot of times, especially those defensive linemen who don't really get a chance to really tackle as much as practice, they get in the backfield, they blow the whistle. I'm not just talking about the quarterback. You have to tag him and let him go. And when you get to the point where your initial instinct on a tackle is to reach, that grown man is not, you can pull his jersey, you're gonna run right through that, especially if somebody's still blocking you at the same time. You got to learn how to use your body. And you got to assimilate that at practice. And I don't care if you don't want to do it every day. You need once a week. You got 3 practices you need to be. You can thud up where you ain't got no, but the shell on or the shoulder pads on and the helmet. But you call yourself fully padded, even though you sitting out there with no pads on your pants, with a whole nother conversation. That's considered a full contact day. You should be going to that ground. Now, again, we ain't holding nobody up so somebody can pull them down and twist their knee and stuff, but that's when you get hurt. But just one-on-one contact, think about it. The ground is not causing no injuries. The injuries is really caused, like I said before, when you're going 3/4 to half speed, that's when you get hurt. I don't know who, whatever. I don't play. I know they used to be what they tell you. You better go full speed. It was the opposite. I never got hurt going full speed. I was getting hurt going 3/4. When you're going up there trying to pull up and you do some odd, or you twist or hit something you don't normally do, you're going to get hurt. Or you pull up and he don't pull up, you get hurt. But it's rare that you're going to get hurt, because whatever you do on thudding up can happen. You can concussion thudding up. Just because you ain't going on the ground, you still hitting. So you might as well go ahead and learn how to wrap up, take the man down. He need to get used to being tackled. He don't need to be used to just getting thudded, because he need to learn how to break some tackles too. You need to get used to that. And sometimes your body don't get used to stuff. It just kind of, it's I mentioned that with baseball and stuff like that. Your body's not used to doing certain movements. You can tell when you ain't did it in a while. It doesn't take long for the body to forget. You have muscle memory. You try being a guy who work out, like hard, like they're working out, and then go and take a month off or even a week. You're going to feel it. Now, I'm not talking about just playing around. You might not say, all right, but if you're doing your body, it's harder to start over than to maintain. It's harder to go at that level if you're not consistent. You might as well keep that thing going because your body's used to it. You feel different. The pains of the recovery, everything's different when you stop doing it. And that's where they at, man. I look at the extensive off season from now, which is March, all the way to August, of them avoiding making contact. It's going to have a consequence. I'm just going to be real. It has had a consequence. It's not like it's new. You will see a significantly different team. Now, they're going to be better. They got better linebackers. They got better this. Yeah, they better. But if you really want to see the better, get them boys tackling. Again, whoever needs to hit this, whatever, make it happen. Get them boys tackling at least once a week. Let them perfect that skill, which is needed, just like all the blocking drill, everything else. They need to understand or renew, review, and get better at tackling. That is the number one thing that Colorado must do this year. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll be talking to y'all soon.